Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final segment of the show and the week here on the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast. And this is a segment that really could happen anywhere, but way too early in the season. It's never too early, never too late, in my opinion. MVP odds. They're always fun to talk about. They're always fun to look at week by week. So why not? To close out the show in the week, it's been a good week of shows, it's been a good week of fantasy football talk, now that we are in the thick of the NFL season, heading into week 2. So without further ado, let's jump right into our final segment of the day here. I actually don't have a graphic. I thought I did have a graphic for this one. Sorry about that, guys. It would have definitely been fun to see all of the players concerned in this race, but unfortunately we do not have a graphic at this current juncture. But we move on. Starting off at number 5, this guy's chances took a big hit, and I still don't know about him. It is Joe Burrow at plus 1,400 right now. I think he has one of the better chances to move down below and even outside the top 10 as weeks go on. Now, I'm not saying this is an indictment of him as a player. It's kind of an indictment of where the team is right now. I think that they're a team very much in limbo on and off the field because sometimes the concerns about a team stem far beyond, just trying to take care of itself in-house. You build up this aura surrounding yourself where you feel like you're invincible, and then it can all come tumbling down. That's kind of what I felt in that game against New England, where they kind of felt like, yes, they were vulnerable, but they felt that they could still win this game, and then the New England Patriots just sucker punched them. And so it's going to be a week-by-week thing to see if Joe Burrow can get this offense back on track. But he has a large part in terms of trying to get it back on track. As Splash Bro says, I'm still holding out hope for a Gus Edwards revival. Not ready to cut him yet. Yeah, he's an interesting case, right? Because J.K. Dobbins had the bigger game. But Gus Edwards wasn't just brought into that Chargers team to just ride the bench, right? He was brought into this team to be the Ravens West. That's what people call them. And so I think that committee approach could work. It's just a matter of who is the hot hand, I think. So that's a fantastic point. I hope that Gus Edwards, too, because he's a very interesting case at the running back position, starts having better fantasy production. But as of right now, I think that Jim Harbaugh is kind of figuring out the cohesiveness of this offense and what makes this offense special. With that being said, let's get back to the MVP debate. And because ultimately, it feels weird to place such a heavy burden on his shoulders, but he is someone at the end of the day can't either fall up this list or fall down this list, because if he's not comfortable in this team, in the environment of this team, and most importantly, they're not winning games early in the season, they always struggle under the Joe Burrow era, I think that's when you start to regress. Andre Collins says, who's my personal pick for MVP, and Splash Bros also says, watch out for a Mark Andrews research. Both interesting and questions. First, I'll address Andre's as well. My pick, personally, right now, is Josh Allen. I'll throw it out there. I was thinking about Patrick Mahomes as well in my mind. I'm thinking about maybe Lamar, but the person who's impressed so far is Josh Allen. Last night, yeah, he took a back seat in the offense, but something that he has to do. And so far, he's looked very comfortable in that Joe Brady offense, knowing that he doesn't necessarily have to do it all himself. He can do it all himself, like we saw in that game against the Arizona Cardinals. But against Miami last night, he said, hey, James Cook, my running back, is doing fantastic. Let me feed him the ball. Let me get him going. And so that's part and parcel of why Josh Allen is my personal pick for MVP. But then, let's go through the rankings a little bit. Flash Bow's point, I think that Mark Andrews may have research, but depending on whether or not the O-line can really short stuff, he can be used as more of a blocking tight end than, being a receiving threat. Before we have Jalen Hurts, plus 1,000. He's a guy who really depends on, as Tapman says, week 2 is always a reboot week. Be wary. Yes, I know it's always a reboot week, but at the end of the day, the Bengals' reboot week is against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I can't look past that. And so, while you could also be referring to Mark Andrews as well, I have to see what the Raiders' defense brings to the table, because it's too side coin in my opinion, because the Raiders' defense can keep them in the game, if you want my honest opinion. Let's skip to Jalen Hurts here in terms of the MVP odds at plus 1,000. I think that Jalen Hurts, it really depends on A, Saquon's role in this offense, and B, whether or not he's comfortable as he progresses in Kellen Moore's offense. Because I'm actually kind of more skeptical about Jalen Hurts than most of these other candidates. Yes, it kind of sounds insane because Jalen Hurts has never had a major injury like Joe Burrow. But at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts is just someone who I could see having an MVP next season, but he's just very, cool-to-see guy who, if he doesn't play within the structure of an offense, can look more at times. So Jalen Hurts plus 1,000 is going to have to be a guy who I need to see more out of. And then C.J. Stroud at the 3 at plus 900. He's a very interesting pick. I definitely see C.J. Stroud winning this award at plus 900. Not the longest of odds for him. And the reason why I think C.J. Stroud is not, the noise around and the tension that could be created in this Texans offense with Son in it, but also seeing as to how he's poised and comfortable. He's not like any other second-year quarterback we've ever seen since, say, Andrew Luck, maybe. This is a guy who actually gets system. He gets the development of an offense. He understands the complexity of an NFL offense. He understands the complexities of his own wide receiver room, and can keep his team on schedule. And so I'm just really impressed to see a guy this high on the list who's a second-year guy and not be surprised by it, because any other guy in the second year of his career in this kind of draft class, I would kind of be skeptical of. I would kind of be wary of. But I'm not with C.J. Stroud. And it feels funny because you think of a guy like Joe Burrow, who's actually beaten Mahomes in his career. You think of the guys above him, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Spoiler alert. This is a guy who, on any given day, any of them can really define this offense. So I really think and like this pick of C.J. Stroud as well. But he's not, my personal MVP pick right now. That's Josh Allen at plus 550. And the reason why I say this is Josh Allen looks so confident right now. He looks like a weight has been lifted off his shoulders. He doesn't have to get too vertical. He doesn't get too risky with his play style. And because of that, this Bills offense more and more gets scarier rather than we thought heading into the season, where we thought, who's going to step up? Khalil Shakir looks good in the slot. Dalton Kincaid is always a weapon. James Coleman, almost underrated backs in the league. Keenan Coleman will get going eventually. So, the picture being painted for Josh Allen, and it has many different colors in it. And what I mean by that is that the variance of this Bills offense, the confidence it has in new OC Joe Brady, is something to watch. And I think Josh Allen will have to be watched as well. But he's not coming number one favorite. 400 is Patrick Mahomes. And it's an easy pick for anyone. Patrick Mahomes, he looks fantastic as well. And he's in a new offense, with players. As the games go on, as he gets more healthy, as Rashid Rice becomes into a wide receiver one more completely, and Xavier Worthy gets a couple more touches, and Travis Kelce continues being that guy for him, Patrick Mahomes is golden. And there's really no one to stop it. But let me know what you guys think. That was just about to do it for the show. The GSMC Fantasy Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's shows. We'll be back next week, same time on Monday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern. I've been